Okay, if I can have everyone's attention, we'll go ahead and get started with our meeting. I'm going to ask Dave Bond to come up. Dave is with Oklahoma Council of Public Affairs Impact, I believe is the group. And if you would please give him your attention, he is going to inform you of a speaker that will be here tomorrow night and maybe a couple of other announcements. So please welcome Dave Bond. Dave?
Well, thank you guys. It's good to see everyone again. And did want to make a very brief announcement. We're doing a joint function tomorrow evening, Thursday the 30th at 5:30 at the Faculty House over at 14th and Lincoln, and we'd love to invite each of you to attend. We're partnering with Americans for Prosperity, the Oklahoma Chapter, Oklahoma Federation of Republican Women, and the High Noon Club. All of those groups are helping to put this on. I think Charlie has RSVP'd to attend, as some Bob and Pam and several others already have as well. Ralph Bullard. We'd love to have you join us. What it's going to be is a gentleman named Travis Brown. You may have seen him on Fox and Friends or Newsmax or a lot of other media outlets around the country talking about his book and website called How Money Walks, where they have literally over a generation's worth of time, 92 to 2011, tracked how folks have moved from high tax to low tax states. We've actually given a version of that presentation here a few months ago for those of you who were there. You probably tried to block it out of your mind, and I understand that, but we appreciated it all the same. So we'd love to have you. Again, let me sum it up real quick in a nutshell. They're tracking personal incomes and taxpayers, and the common thread over 2 decades of folks leaving states with high, particularly personal income tax rates, and going to states with low income tax rates. And the biggest winners, it's not a huge surprise to us, were the states that have no personal income tax. We happen to be butted up against one of those in Texas, but other states, even like Wyoming, smallest population in the country, no income tax states, still seeing significant gains in people and incomes, growing their private economy, growing their tax base. Oklahoma has been a net loser over time, yet made a dramatic turn in 2005, and I'll let Travis talk more about that tomorrow evening, and I hope you can join us for that. Any other questions I can answer, you can RSVP on our Facebook page, OCPA Impact, as well as on the other RSVP info is on the flyer.
David, because of the close proximity when the dinner is tomorrow night, if they wanted to go, could they just fill this out and give it to you right now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you might want to do that because they would like to have a bit of a head count for knowing how much food they need to do. Yeah.
Dinner will be served, and there is no charge to attend. Americans for Prosperity is helping us to offset the cost of dinner for folks who attend. So we wanted to remove that barrier for folks if it was a concern. So I hope you can join us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, David. And you know, the cool thing about Americans for Prosperity is they're a very prosperous organization, so they're able to provide a lot of benefits for those that will attend their meetings and their functions and things like that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get with our first candidate. We have 2 candidates, and we have 2 very interesting people from the country of the nation of Nepal here today to speak with us. Our first candidate is a judicial candidate, Don Deason, and you're already the incumbent judge and you've drawn an opponent. Is this a particular district with a geographical area, or is this one of the at-large districts where the entire county votes?
It's District 2.
District 2, okay. Well, he can define that district. You may or may not live in that, but at this point in time, please welcome Judge Don Deason.
Yeah.
Judge Deason.
Kind words, and thank you folks for having me here.
Hold it very close.
Hold it very close, okay. I've had all kinds of different setups, so I need to get used to this. Anyway, thank you for having me out here today, folks. I'll tell you right off the bat, talking about myself is not my favorite thing to do, but I will do it to the best of my ability. I've served on the bench in Oklahoma County for 15 years. I was appointed by Governor Henry as a district judge to the elected position in April of 2005. I served for 5 years in the domestic and family division, doing divorces, custody, property division, that sort of thing. I've been on the criminal felony trial docket for coming up on 5 years now. During that time, I have tried Last week was jury trial number 80 for my courtroom. I worked for nearly 20 years before that as prosecutor for Oklahoma County. I was originally hired by Andy Coates back in 1979, but I spent the majority of my career working under Bob Macy. I prosecuted, I couldn't tell you how many cases, it'd probably have to be at least a couple hundred. I know I did several dozen murder, homicide cases, and probably about 15 or so of those were death penalty capital cases. So I have some trial experience, and that's why I wanted to do what I do. Thank you for correcting the introduction. I am the incumbent. I don't really feel like I'm running for judge. I am the judge. I've been the judge. I have to come here and introduce myself to you folks and tell you to emphasize my first name is Donald. I go by Don, and the only reason I'm telling you that right now is the person who decided to run against me picked my office out of 15 possible offices to run for because our last names are spelled nearly identically. We have different first names, but when you see the names on the ballot, his is spelled D-E-N-S-O-N and mine is D-E-A-S-O-N, and it's pretty frightening to see that. I don't appear on the ballot countywide. I run in a district, District 2, which is basically the western part of the county. Right here in this area, we're not in my district right now, but I know some of you folks might live over where I am, or you at least have friends over there. It's roughly May Avenue west county line and Waterloo down to Southwest 89th Street. I've enjoyed getting out and talking to groups like this. I assume somebody will tug on my tail when it's time for me to sit down.
Go right ahead.
About 4 or 5 more minutes.
Okay. I've enjoyed getting out and talking to groups like this. I find that a lot of folks don't understand why a judicial race is important to them and why they should care about what we do down there. A lot of folks don't even really know what we do down there unless you have some reason to be at the courthouse. And most reasons to be there aren't good reasons. We're not necessarily in the happiness business down there, though when I see a group of happy people, I know they probably just finalized an adoption. So we do some things that are good. We're kind of out of the marriage business anymore, and that's probably a good thing for judges with the same-sex marriage issue. I don't want to get caught up in that. But we have 15 district judges who are elected. 8 of us run in certain districts. Even though I'm in a district, I hear cases from all over the county. I'm not confined to hearing them from one particular area. We have 7 judges who run at large or countywide. We have 1 associate district judge and 18 special judges, and we still have more work than we know what to do with down there. I know that this group has a reputation for being politically active. You are savvy, you do your research, you educate yourself as to the candidates. I can offer you one resource to help educate yourselves on the judicial races, because most people really know absolutely nothing about judicial races, and when they get to that part in the ballot, some people just don't vote altogether because they don't know who to vote for. Some people just pick a name and fill in the box next to it. There's a website that's run by our Oklahoma County Bar Association. I think it's okcbar.org. Do not confuse it with the State Bar Association. This is the County Bar Association. Every judicial election year, they send out a poll to their members, asking them using, I think, 7 or 8 discrete criteria to rank the various judicial candidates, be they incumbent or challengers, as to whether they're qualified, well qualified, or not qualified. We have 3 incumbents who are seeking to keep our office this year, and according to the poll from the Bar Association, all 3 of our challengers were overwhelmingly voted by their peers to be not qualified to hold judicial office. And I think all 3 of us who are incumbents were at the same time overwhelmingly voted to be well qualified to qualified. I think I had a 4% disapproval level. 4% thought I was not qualified, and my comeback to that is I spent 5 years in divorce court. I think that's pretty good. I would expect to come out with a whole lot more the way business is done down there. But seriously, educate yourselves as to that. I also urge people I talk to, and I don't think I need to tell you this, that we have friends and neighbors, we have sons and daughters that we know who are putting their lives on the line overseas every day so that we can have what we have here and exercise the right to vote. Obviously, I come out here asking for the support of the citizens, but the main thing is whoever you support, get out and vote. Thank you very much for having me here today.
One question, please. Would you explain the terminology judicial temperament? Tell us what that basically means, because that's an important aspect of anyone that serves in that position.
Judicial temperament starts with not bringing your own personal agenda to work with you. You have to be, we are sworn to uphold the laws of the state of Oklahoma, regardless of our feelings about it. At the heart of judicial temperament is respect for everybody who comes in front of you. I don't care if you're an accused killer. I don't care if you're a rapist. I will treat you with respect in my courtroom. It's a little hard to do sometimes with some folks, but the overriding aspect of judicial temperament is that you're even-handed. Rulings are not all over the map, so to speak. Attorneys who come in your court know what to expect, and I think that's the reputation that I have. Folks who come before me know what they're in for. If you come in prepared as an attorney, if you come in with respect for everyone around you, you can expect good things to happen for your client. Hopefully that answered the question a little bit.
Yeah,
What's the north boundary line?
I'm sorry?
North boundary line.
Waterloo Road. Yes, sir.
What was the question? What was the answer?
The question was, what is the north boundary line for my district? And the answer was Waterloo Road.
Thank you.
and basically west of May Avenue, right?
Yes.
Basically west of May, down to Southwest 89th, did you say?
Yes.
And Waterloo, all the way up to the county line. So pretty much far northwest Oklahoma City and a lot of southwest Oklahoma City. Let's hold questions here until we get all of our speakers done, and then we can ask them of any of them. So, all right, thank you very much. Our next speaker today is a candidate for District 1 County Commission in Oklahoma County, and that's Daren Ward. He's running against a fairly long-term liberal Democrat. And so please welcome Daren Ward as he comes to tell us about his campaign.
Thank you, everybody. I apologize ahead of time. I have a sinus infection, so I'm going to sound a little different than normal, but I think I have a voice presence that we can get it out. So, my name's Daren Ward. I'm running for Oklahoma County Commissioner District 1. District 1 includes Luther, Jones, Spencer, Midwest City, Del City, Forest Park, and Oklahoma City south of 63rd Street, south of Northwest 63rd Street, north of I-40 out to MacArthur. So that was redistricted in 2010. And so the majority of this area, it's an open race. Will has never run a race in the area, and neither have I. This is my first time as a candidate. I have worked on some elections. Actually, I cut my political teeth with this group. Thank you, Don Crossan, for picking me off at the Heritage Festival and bringing me in and introducing me to you folks, and this has led me here. Because when you get involved, like each and every one of you are, and you see the wrongs, and you see a spot where you can stand up and make a difference, that's what it's about. I felt led to do this because I've had interactions with Willow Johnson. We have a lot of friends and family out in the Northeast area that is mostly affected by the problems of not doing the job that's described to them. And that's what we need to do as people, citizens. We must stand up and hold our elected officials accountable to their job. That's what they get paid to do, and they use our money to pay for it. So that is why I'm here. What we can do and what we should do is not being done in the Oklahoma County District 1 area. If you know anybody that lives out there, if you've gone out there, you've seen the roads, you've seen the drainage problems, you've seen the 10, 12-foot tall grass, and we have all this money going. The ad valorem taxes, your property taxes are paying for this, our fuel taxes are paying for these services, but the services are not being completed. Inside the city limits of Oklahoma City, the county doesn't have a whole lot of influence on the roads and the bridges, but we do in the courthouse, the county jail, which we all know is a huge problem. And like Judge Deason said, you don't go to the county courthouse on good terms most of the time. So a lot of people don't even know what the county commissioners do. But we have a big, big problem that has been brewing for a long time with the jail. Can it be fixed? Do we really know what's going on? I think it can be fixed in many aspects. I think whatever the solution does, it has to happen quickly and very inexpensively, because we, the taxpayers, do not have a lot of money to go blowing on another jail that's going to be a failure. The current jail was built around 1990, and it's had problems from the get-go. Right now, they don't have a working sewer line underneath, so there's not a working kitchen in the jail. They're supposed to have it done right about now. I don't know where they are on that. I've been knocking doors and talking to people, but there are big, big decisions that are going to need to be made for our county and for our money, and that is coming up. And I need input from people like you. I need to hear each day what is on your heart and what you see out there, because as you know, from 16th and MacArthur to Luther is a long way, and that's without input from everybody telling the elected officials what's going on. How will they know? So you have a limited staff, you have a limited time, you have a limited budget, but you can find ways to stretch those dollars. And that is what my main goal is to improve the services that we've been deemed from the county.
Daren, real quickly, what do you think of the other commissioners' SHINE program?
Love the SHINE program. I think that's a great thing. Our District 1 commissioner, which is Willa Johnson, has shied away from the SHINE program. It's a wonderful program. Brian Mon instituted it down in District 2, and it gives the judges and prosecutors the abilities to sentence nonviolent criminals to community service, and they serve it out doing community projects. And then they've expanded it where volunteerism is invited in. So youth groups, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, church groups, on and on and on, work with these people to clean up our community, take away graffiti, clean out bar ditches, on and on and on, the many things they've done. It's a great program. We need to bring it out to all areas. Imagine what you could do going into the city of Del City with a crew of 50 people for 2 weekends in a row. You would clean it up, and it would be a huge impact on the city. They also have a program, you have to sign a waiver and allow them onto your property to cut off the cedar trees. And as some of you know that live out there around here and in Spencer, when the wildfires come, the cedar trees are just huge fuel. And they came to Oklahoma because of the Dust Bowl, because they are fast growing, they do have a lot of shade, and they serve their purpose, but now we need to get rid of as many of the cedar trees as possible, because as you've seen recently, the wildfires they really destroy a lot. Do you have anything else, Charlie?
Oh, that's great.
Thank you all for allowing me a chance to come and vote.
That's a real important issue, folks. The Oklahoman has endorsed Willa Johnson. But if Willa Johnson is not, well, the Oklahoman loves to be bipartisan. They have to hunt hard and far, and they want to make sure somebody will get along with their agenda. That's my opinion of it anyway. And so, they've endorsed Willa Johnson, but just the fact that she's not interested in using the SHINE program is a huge difference between the two of them right here. And so keep that in mind there. Okay, I'm going to have Bill Shapard come up here and introduce our next two guests, because they have been, I guess, your guest for some period of time now. They are both from Nepal, and they're kind of in the same business a little bit that Bill's in, polling, consulting, things like that. And I've asked them today to talk about what they've seen here and how it differs with what they've seen in their own country and how they do things. But I'm going to let Bill introduce them at this point in time. Bill?
Thank you, Charlie.
And if you want to, Bill, you can also reveal just to this group, we'll even take it off the camera here. The poll, Bill's one of the top pollsters in the state of Oklahoma, and we'll be releasing tomorrow on News 9 the polling that you found out in the hot races. If you want to tell us today ahead of time, it's fine. You may be under contract, or you can't do that. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you as much as I know. How about that? I'm Bill Shapard. I'm with SoonerPoll. I've come and spoke to this group before and talked about polling methodologies. I'm the pollster of record for the Tulsa World and for News 9 and News on 6 in Tulsa, the two CBS affiliates. And so we're the only nonpartisan pollster in the state. So, we're only interested in being right. That's our concern. Today I'm joined and wanted to introduce Juna and Manish. They are both, as Charlie said, from Nepal. They are both in the market research and public opinion polling business, and they'll tell you a little bit about what they do. But I was asked to participate in a program run by the U.S. Department of State, where they took 45 different countries around the world and matched them with an Oklahoma City. And so for the last 3 weeks, people from all over the world have come to America to participate in a business exchange program. So I was placed with them because they're in the same business as I. And so I've been learning from them for the last couple of weeks as they have been learning from me as well. And so after this week is over, they go to Washington, D.C. for a conference in Washington with all of the other folks from all over the world, and then have a great conference about their business exchange program. And then they're staying at the University of Oklahoma as a part of this program. And so they both are in market research, but one specializes more in political polling and works with the television media like I do, and the other does more social research and more market research. And so it's been very interesting. Nepal is halfway around the world. I walked into my call center and I said, "Who knows where Nepal is?" And it was a hard to find anybody that knew exactly where Nepal is. But it's a great country, great people, and so I'm glad, privileged, and feel honored to have them here and let them share their experience. One last thing. They had a monarchy in Nepal up until 2001, going back 13 generations. Since 2006, they are now a democracy. So while we have been one over 200 and some years, they're just now into their democracy. So I hope they'll spend a little time talking about what it's like to be growing up in a new country with a new democracy and how that works for them. So, Juna, you're going to go first. So.
Thank you so much, sir, for having us here.
Very close.
We feel honored with this invitation. I'm Juna Mathema from Kathmandu, Nepal.
Juna, hold it a little closer to your mouth.
Yeah, Juna Mathema from Kathmandu, Nepal. And like Bill has introduced, we are here for 5 states for the exchange program. And we've been with Bill for last 3 weeks. And we've had a great time. And I do a lot of work as Bill does. But it's a different in concepts and different techniques, and we've been learning to each other's experiences as well. And my friend Manish will be talking more about the political scenario and what he has been described here. So I'll just hand it over to him.
Okay.
Thank you, Juna. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having us here. As Bill introduced us, and he has mentioned that we are from Nepal. Nepal is in South Asia, and it's between India and China. As like countries started, origin of countries started, and we people in this world started identifying different countries, we were in the 17th position to have identity as a country in this world. So history-wise, we are very old. But having monarchy for a very long time, it was almost for more than 300 years. We went through all these political conflicts since 1992. Maoists came up with different agenda and different dreams for people. And we had political conflict from 1994 to 2006. And in this 12-year-long political conflict, more than 20,000 people died. And But in 2006, Maoists, they had the coalition with other political forces in Nepal. We also have some Congress and other social democrats. We'll be amazed to know that we have 127 political parties registered in our election commission. And they participated in latest election we had last year in 2013 November. Maoists started, they joined the politics and they became mainstream politicians. They had very nice stake in the political market. But when we had our first Constitution Assembly election in 2008, they became more strongest party in Nepal. But when they joined government, they formed the government, and Maoist Supremo, his name is Prachanda, he became prime minister. Then he realized that it's easy to sell dream, it's very difficult to deliver, and he failed. And now they have become third party, they are no more strong. We have Congress, that's a democratic party, and they have their prime minister now. It's in coalition with UML, which is Social Democrats in Nepal. It's good that we can say that now we have peace process going on. All these Maoists who had their comeback, they have joined our army, national army. They are in national army now. So the political peace process is working. It's moving further. Economic growth is getting better. Population of our country is 30 million. And our capital is Kathmandu. We have 3.5 million population in Kathmandu, which is almost equal to population of your state. Our per capita income is very less. It's only $1,300. And our main source of our economy, or our 65% of our GDP, depends on agriculture. More than 4 billion youth, they work outside. Most of them, they go to Middle East for foreign employment opportunity. We are the third GDP-wise, third remittance recipient country. We have almost 25% contribution in our GDP through remittance, which comes from abroad. In US, we are the eighth position in US, where students come from outside to study here. So there are lots of Nepalese in this country as well. We believe on democracy, democratic practice, everything. But the problem in our country is lots of people, lots of politicians, they don't know that democracy is that which delivers. But in our country, they believe that democracy is that if you speak and if you have different agenda, which is not enough for us. I run a research company. I do political polling and all this political analysis and everything. I was the one who started exit poll in our country, and that time it was very difficult for me because lots of people, they didn't trust me. They didn't have any idea that exit poll works. And I had more than 20 shows during this exit poll and election. I remember one time when in that show, I was about to disclose that Prachanda is going to lose. The Maoist Supremo, who used to be most powerful politician in Nepal till that day, he was. And in that episode, I was supposed to disclose that he is going to lose, and our research says that. That time, my crew, my cameraman, my production team, all of was they were feeling, oh, you are going to be in security threat, that you are saying he is going to lose, the Maoist leader is going to lose. I said, yeah, our research says that. You're taking risks. It's risks, big risks for you. And I said, I don't care. My research says that, I trust in my research. I did that. And next day, the result came and he lost. And that day, all the television channels started using that clip, that it was already said by someone. That became kind of turning point for my career and for my organization. And then they started believing in our research and methodology and all this exit poll and everything. I'm also associated with one of the public policy think tank. The name of the organization is Samriddhi. Samriddhi means prosperity in our language. The name of the organization is Samriddhi, the Prosperity Foundation. We have some partner organization in US, Atlas Foundation and some Coffin Foundation. We work with them. We try to develop four things in Nepal: individual liberty, economic freedom, democratic discourse, and business environment. And through that campaign, through that organization, we started one campaign in 2010. The name of the campaign was Gari Khana Deu in our language. That means, let me earn my living. Because after 2006, in Nepal, everyone started talking about political change, and only politics. But we wanted someone to talk about economics, economic freedom, market economy, all these things. In our country, we have more people work for government than private sector. We don't want that. We want to have private sector is strong. So we try to do advocacy for that, and we are trying that. We give training to people to become entrepreneur. We have one program where it's a 6 days residential program where we invite people to take that training. It's a very tough competition to get admission there. And if they are there, then they take training for 6 days which is about how to start business. And so far we have already given training to more than 600 youths. And they understand business now. They understand how economic works, how market works. And that's the thing. Those type of things we do. We do also research. Nowadays, political scenario is getting better. All international organizations are coming to invest in Nepal. The future perspective and potential in our country, economic potential, is hydro, the natural resources we have. Its total potential is more than 50,000 megawatt, which we don't need for our country, so that we can sell in future to India and China and other countries. So that possibilities we have there. It's a very beautiful country. We have Mount Everest and other mountains. In the world, we have 14 mountains, which is bigger than or highest than 8,000 meters. Out of 14, we have 8 in our country. So it's lots of mountains and hills and everything there. So I would like to invite you all to visit our country, and don't worry about Maoists, they're already gone. Thank you.
Many years ago, I knew a gentleman by the name of Prem Shrestha from Nepal. This is 30 years ago, and he's one of the first Nepali ever in Oklahoma. He and another lady by the name of Suniti Shrestha. And they gave me a poster of the mountain Annapurna. And it's a beautiful mountain, and if I'd have had time, I'd have found it and brought it up here and put it up on this pedestal today, but just didn't have time to get that. But it is a beautiful country, and I imagine tourism is a pretty big part of your economy too. 12%. Okay, 12%. And so if you ever want to go climb a big mountain, that's the place, Mount Everest. If you ever heard of Sherpas, they can tell you it's 30,000 feet, isn't it? I don't know, 29,000 feet. I don't do meters. We don't do meters here. Old Americans don't do meters. So. All right, John, go ahead. Now, just director question for whoever, and I'll give them the mic.
Judge Deason, thanks for being here today. I know you said you did not want to go on record regarding a certain issue, so I won't ask your position or opinion about it specifically. This is more of a research question. The county court clerks are charged with issuing and recording marriage licenses. So if a particular county court clerk wanted to follow Oklahoma state law for the Constitution and natural law for God and not issue same-sex marriage licenses, what would happen? I've heard that it would go to a judge and a judge would sign it and it would get done anyway, but what is your understanding of the way these things work at that level? And what would happen if a court clerk said, nah, we're not going to do that here?
I think at that level, if a court clerk or any other officer who's charged with upholding the law were to refuse to do so, I think they could be directed by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court to follow the law. And if they refuse to comply with the directive of the Chief Justice, then they have the powers of contempt. And certainly I hope it wouldn't come to that.
So, but that is my question, because our state says marriage is between one man and one woman and same-sex marriage is banned. So if the court clerk says that's what we're upholding and denies a gay couple a marriage license, then what would happen?
That's a very good question. It really is.
Okay. Well, I've got some meetings tomorrow with legislators and attorneys to talk about that. I'll let y'all know how it goes. And a question about Nepal. Could you tell us what the religious makeup is of the country? Do you know anything about the percentages of Christians, Catholic, Protestant, Hindu, Buddhist, etc.? I'm very curious.
We have 30 million population of Nepal, and in 30 million we have 92% are Hindus, and we have 1.19% Muslim, almost 4% Buddhist, and less than 1% Christian.
Oh, quick follow-up question. Do the Hindus get along with the other religions? Is there any animosity there?
You'll be surprised to know that today we are going through one of the festival yesterday and today. It's a very famous festival. Name of the festival is Chhat, Chhat, Chhat Puja. So we pray to sun. In this festival, you'll see lots of the Muslims doing. This is Hindus festival. So Muslim also they participate. Buddhists come to visit and have all this participation in this thing. And I get invitation from Muslim family. They come to my house. So we do not have any religious conflict in this country. And it's like, I have not heard any religious conflict so far in Nepal. So it's really good.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Don?
Judge Deason, thanks a lot for being here, first of all. Who determines your workload, and what is the oversight on that workload?
We have 6 district judges who are assigned to the criminal division. There are somewhere right around 8,000 felony cases filed every year in Oklahoma County. I'm not exactly Mr. Math, but I think if you divide that up, it's somewhere 1,200 to 1,500 cases we have to close every year. Cases are randomly assigned when they come in by the court clerk's office, but they can be further reassigned by virtue of, for example, if I take a guilty plea from some fellow, put him on probation, and he later violates the terms of his probation and commits a new crime, the new crime comes back to me because he was my lower case number is how we refer to it. So I don't know if that answered the question very well. Randomly, our papers are graded on appeal by the Court of Criminal Appeals, who are the criminal counterpart to the state Supreme Court, and we are overseen by the state administrative office of the courts.
Okay.
Daren, it's pretty obvious I'm supporting you, but I just wanted to ask you,
How would we know? Is that the button says Ward on there?
that would be one indicator. I think there's others. I just want to know, it's well known that Wetzel wants a $400 million jail. And he's kind of backed off that now that Darrell run against him and made that an issue. But I just want to ask you, Leonard Sullivan, Butch Freeman, all the good old boy county government, are you going to go down there and be a yes man? I don't think you are. I just want in front of this crowd for you to address that if you don't mind.
This is being recorded. That's fine. Anybody that knows me know you're going to get my opinion all the time. And I don't normally shy away from giving my opinion. I'm beholden to no one down there. I am very mixed on my feelings of the jail right now. I need more information, and I think once I'm elected and I get the information, my job as an elected official is to bring the information to you and say, this is what it would cost to build a new jail. This is the amount of money that we could fix the current jail and get it up to operating standards. This is what it would cost to build an annex. Give the citizens some options and let the citizens choose. That is what elected officials are supposed to do. We're supposed to gather the information, bring it to the citizens, and let them choose. So, and your estimate, I've heard that. I've heard $900 million. I've heard it started at $250 million. They have gone out and hired an out-of-state firm to come in and do polling of the citizens of Oklahoma County to see if they're going to be receptive of a jail, and it was overwhelmingly no. The jail problems, I know this is more than you asked, but you started it. I'm going to finish it. The citizens overwhelmingly said no. The Department of Corrections has taken away prisoners. The Department of Justice has sent prisoners away. Federal prisoners have to go to Chickasha now. I know it's a problem for judges. I know it's a problem for attorneys. The turnaround time at the county jail to get somebody booked in and booked out is averaging about 12 hours to 14 hours. All of those things are a jail issue and a sheriff issue, but as a county commissioner, we all three should go to the sheriff and say, what do you need? What can we do to make this better? And without that kind of cooperation, I know that a lot of people are unhappy about John Wetzel's reelection, but he is our sheriff for at least 2 more years, and we have to work with him. So what they need to get it done, no, I'm not going to be a yes man, but I will work with everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
Charlie, can I say one other thing real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
As long as that mic works. If that mic stops working,
I just got news that...
mic stopped working, you can't talk.
Is it?
I just got news that
It stopped working again.
the mayor of Houston dropped the lawsuit.
Oh, really?
Dropped all the subpoenas.
Yeah, that was just brought to me by Ted, that the mayor that wanted to charge pastors to force them to give them their sermons ahead of time has dropped all that lawsuit there and everything.
Yeah, but the real question is, are the citizens of Houston going to drop the mayor?
Well, who knows?
Yeah.
Right?
Like a potato.
Yeah. Okay, Bob.
Judge Don, I'm going to stress your first name, right, sir? Donald? Donald? All right, got that?
It'll be Donald on the ballot.
Sir, when you're, I'm not a lawyer, so you're going to have to forgive my layman terms here, it's all right, but when you're making a decision and you're weighing the information presented to you by the various lawyers and how they do that, they find a standard case law base, they bring out previous cases and things like that. In your court and other courts that you're familiar with and all that you may work with, do you find them bringing in laws and all from cities or other governments outside of the United States, such as what may be going on in Paris or London or over there in Nepal as an example, to support their case in terms of what should be done here and the decisions you're going to make? Or other courts, do you hear that kind of evidence being brought in? And if so, how much does it weigh?
I have never heard evidence like that sought to be presented in my courtroom. The closest I came to it several years ago, I was handling a divorce case. The couple was Iranian. They lived here in the United States. The husband went back to Iran and divorced his wife in a Sharia court back there, awarding her no property, no rights whatsoever. And when he came back to the United States, she filed for divorce, and his attorney actually tried to present me with a Iranian divorce decree that was written completely in Farsi. I said, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, even if it were valid under their laws, since we don't have diplomatic relations with Iran, there's no way you could certify that. That's the closest I've ever come. I've never had anybody make some wild argument that I get to beat my wife because it's Sharia law.
Well, you're saying you didn't take that into account?
I did not.
I think he said, you got to be kidding me. So, But now, do you see the wisdom in our legislature passing the law 2 years ago, Sally Kern's law here, to outlaw the use in our courts of any other legal system outside of the United States? That's the value in doing that, because it's just a matter of time. This is just one judge, one example, and it's just a matter of time before more and more of that comes along at some point in time.
Well,
and of course, the big problem is Sharia law.
Allow me to add, what I'm encouraged to hear is that, forgive me, if the lower level courts, so to speak, are still don't have that influence. At the national level, our Supreme Court, okay, you take a look at what's going on there, their decisions, and even judicial powers that are international, like going through NAFTA, and the Supreme Court stuck with it. That's not the case. So I'm encouraged to hear at the local level that it's still very American, shall I say.
Yeah. Okay.
Daren, as a fellow candidate for office, we can't get good people with the right convictions to run for local office, so I appreciate you trying to do this. But some of the things we ask legislative candidates a lot are kind of what's the demographic makeup, political party-wise of your district that's been redistricted. What kind of funds have you been able to raise? Do you have an idea what your opponent has been able to do? What are the dynamics? What do you think the chances are going forward? And would it be nice if anybody in this room might write you a check because they want good people in local office?
Well, I think we got a $250 check already. It's floating around out there. The envelopes are on the table, by the way. And thank you, Mark. Actually, your wife was one of the people that inspired me to run with her hard work, and I know she's been a valuable asset to your campaign, and anybody in Canadian County, I'm sure you're already going to vote for him anyway. So, but anyways, yes, I've raised some money, 13 to 15,000. I've put about 20,000 of my own money in it. It is very tough because most of the things I hear when knocking on the doors is, one, what does a county commissioner do? We still have those. I thought they put all of them in jail back in the 80s. And two, is I'm the first officer or first candidate for a county office that's ever knocked on their door. So that shows you the problems because people don't care. So when the people don't know about what a county commissioner does and they have never had a engagement with a county officer, they don't care. And if you can go back and you track your ballots and the undervotes, like Judge Deason spoke about, well, we don't know who this is, so we're not going to vote. Or they'll say, well, yeah, I remember his sign. I know that's not going to happen to anybody in this room because I know most of you and I know you're going to do your homework. If you want to help, we need your help. There are some flyers over there. We have plenty of signs. There are some envelopes. The demographics of our area, we broke it down. In the Republican and Democrat, we are at a 3-point disadvantage. There are 53% Republican, 47% 53% Democrat, 47% Republican, and then there's that wedge of independent. Of course, luckily our Democrats out here are more conservative than most of the East Coast Republicans. So getting the word out is all we need. Tell your friends, tell your family. We have all of Luther, all of Jones, all of Spencer, all of Midwest City, all of Dell City, and the heart of Oklahoma City, which is north of I-40 and south of 63rd Street out to MacArthur. Facebook, email, phone calls. If you want to go to Steve Russell's headquarters, they have phone banks set up every day. Are they doing it still from 1 to 4? Where'd he go? 1 to 5. 1 to 5. 1 to 5 every day. You can jump in there and make phone calls. We're calling lists. Tell them to vote straight ticket. If they feel, and you can explain to people, a lot of people don't understand about straight ticket. When you check straight ticket, that means that you voted for every Republican on the ballot, but if you want to vote for another candidate other than a Republican, all you have to do is check that, and then all the other Republicans are in. So, see, at least we got some information to somebody that didn't know it. But there are a lot of ways to help. There are yard signs. We have lots of them to put out. We got about 12 or 1,500 we're going to put out in the next few days. So if you have a truck and you have some shoes and you want to go push some signs in dirt, please come along with us. And Mark, thank you for that, and good luck in your race too.
Okay. All right. One more thing on the straight ticket. There'll be about 3 columns on your ballot. I believe you had to mark straight ticket at the top of each of those columns. You used to. I haven't checked to see if that's the way it still is or not. So if you only do it on one column, that's the only column you'll be straight ticket on.
Just one now.
Or just one place now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, Glenn?
I'd like to ask our friend from Nepal, I appreciate your being here. You mentioned that a large number of your citizens are going abroad, working, and that one of the major sources of income to your country is from family members sending funds back from working overseas. I lived in the Philippines for 7 years, and that was very true of the Filipinos. What I observed, though, was that as the Filipinos would go abroad, their thinking would be changed very much according to whatever country they happen to be serving in. They were sending money back home, but very little influence as far as the thinking of the people in the Philippines from the experiences of their relatives abroad. I'm wondering, are you finding that Nepal is remaining a very homogeneous community, or is the members of family working abroad having an influence on the thinking of the people in Nepal rather than just a source of funding to the people back home?
It's like before 1992, we're not allowed to go abroad. We had to take permission from Royal Palace, and we had to have certain relation with them. Otherwise, like chief of the district or zone had to provide us a signature letter to fly abroad. It was really difficult. Then after 92, the government allowed to go abroad, because in 94 the political conflict started, and during 92 there were some noise. So government actually, they thought like, let's send them abroad so that we'll have less conflict, because youth will go abroad, so who will raise their voice against us? But that worked other way around, and it's like that supported our economy. The other part of this story is like, yes, we are also learning from them, and that's helping us to understand different dimensions of our society, roles and responsibilities, and where we are. Like, you must be aware about the Chinese story that during 13th century, they thought like they are the strongest country in this world. And they went around. After coming back, after 6 months, they came back and they said like, yeah, we are the strongest one. And then after they stopped going anywhere, they thought like, yeah, we are good. But after 500 years, in 18th century, when they went for the second trip, they realized, oh, we are really back. So it's sometime you need to go around to see different society, different civilization process, development process. That's helping us as well.
Okay. My question, particularly on the Philippines, I know the people who did go abroad, their thinking was changed. But once abroad, they rarely ever came home except for a visit, and they did not have that much influence on the thinking of the people at home. Financially, yes, but as far as philosophy or thinking, no, they did not have that much change. And once they've gone abroad, they almost always stay abroad. I mean, I've never known of any returning and living at home and trying to bring these new ideas back to the home country.
I would like to add something to what you said. It is almost similar to what you're saying, that financially, yes, the lifestyle, the living standard of the people has been raised because they've been getting a lot of money from outside. So, but then yes, we have people who are coming back and then starting their own business like they've done there and doing the same in their home country as well. So I think it's both ends, like influentially, behavior-wise, not so much. Financially, yes, but they're also bringing in their own skills, what they've learned there, and doing something for their own country as well. So we do have that section of the people also. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, folks, well, thank you very much for all of you for being here today, and thank you for coming. Next Tuesday is Election Day, so you know some candidates here today that probably you will want to support, whether that's immediately with your help. I'm sure Daren can use that, and I don't know, Judge, can you take contributions and things? Do you need contributions?
The simple answer to that is, under the Code of Judicial Conduct, I cannot participate in any way with fundraising.
Okay.
I have to almost turn my back if envelopes are changing hands. That has to be done.
There's a lady right down there that can, though.
That has to be done by my committee,
Okay.
my committee and campaign coordinator is a beautiful lady in the, what color is that? It's not red. Beautiful lady in the beautiful dress. She's my campaign.
Yeah. Okay, great. Zaina, may I tell
Charlie, could we clarify the spelling of his last name one more time?
Deason.
Okay.
The other one is Denson. Deason. Zaina, do you mind if I tell you a little story? Tell on you just a little bit here? Okay. Dana is a graduate of Christian Heritage Academy. And a few years ago...
Try to keep that quiet.
Kind of keep that quiet, okay. A few years ago, I was asked to come and speak to their Salt and Light Club, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And that's only happened once. The once was too much, I guess. But anyway, it was a good-sized group. It was a mixed group. And Zaina was a part of that group. And she was a very engaging young lady and very proud to let me know she was a Democrat. Well, here about 4 years ago, you decided to run for a state house seat, and you contacted me, and you wanted me to know you had changed to a Republican. And so there is hope, folks, for people. She was featured in a story in the Oklahoman, out knocking doors, and one of her opponents was also featured in that. And I'm trying to think of his name right now. Help me with his name.
Coulter.
Yeah. Kyle Coulter, who's also been here at these meetings many times and married a homeschool girl and everything. So, but anyway, it was a tough district, and the Democrat won again over there, and that's their minority leader right now, and I can't even think of his name right now, but he's Scott Inman. Thank you. So anyway, thank you so much for coming, and get to know these folks, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Appreciate you being able to come here.